Hey now, welcome to Operation End Times. I am your Jedi warrior for Jesus, Ben Hellestead. This is part 3 of the Synchronicity of the Ages series. We're going to be talking about synchronous resonance. And you know what? There's a lot to talk about here, and I can't say that I'm an expert on any of it, but, I'm kind of feeling it, so we're just going to try and dive into the deep pool. But it all ties into what's going on, the synchronicity of the ages, the end of one time or some kind of time. Maybe it's just time as perceived by man, and the beginning of some kind of new time. Anyway, what you'll find out is that time is only as good as your ability to perceive it. Now, here on Earth, we spend a lot of time measuring time, especially in the digital age. We can measure it down to the micron. It's kind of that micro, macro, perspective. But time, man tends to get it down to its smallest unit, or the smallest unit he can perceive, and then recalculate it all back out the other way. But time, by its divine nature, is infinite. So, in Genesis 1:3, God says, "Let there be light." And you could reword that, and basically somebody said, let there not only be light, but let there be time. Because right after that, it says, hey, the light was called day, and the darkness was called night, and that was the first day, or the first ability of somebody to perceive a 24-hour period. Now, time, that's kind of how it's measured. Earth has a resonance with the sun, which is our planet spins around in what we've divided up into a 24-hour day, and it does it 365 times in 1 year, which is the amount of time it takes for Earth to go around the sun, which is 365 times 24 hours. And then you can break it down into seconds, minutes, and all that other kind of good stuff. But that's a resonance, 1 to 365. Now, another resonance is 1 to 1. The moon is in a 1 to 1 resonance with the Earth. Therefore, we're always looking at the same face of the moon. Now, some people tell you there's a dark side of the moon. There is no actual dark side of the moon. All sides of the moon get sun. But the dark side of the moon, if anything, is more spiritual and mental. It's a side of the moon that we never get to see, because the same side of the moon is facing us. But we can see darkness on the moon, and we can see light on the moon. And then there's a whole side of the moon that gets light and darkness that we don't see. It's kind of like if you were on the moon looking back at Earth, you'd only be able to see the United States, because you don't see anything else. And usually it's a bigger planet like Earth to a smaller planet like the moon. But that is an example of a synchronous relationship between Earth and the moon. And the moon is then how we divide up the rest of our time. It is, how we get months and, years and ages and seasons and all that kind of good stuff. Now, I was kind of researching this whole thing, and we're at the 4-minute mark. I'm going to try and keep this under 15 minutes. But I was looking at orbital resonance on Wikipedia. And it says, in celestial mechanics. And I just love it, man, because, a lot of people want to think that, like I said, there's 2 cities. There's synchronicity, the Sin City, and then there's the Electricity of the Electricity of the Tri-City. Those that see the light. But Synchronicity City, they all wear watches. They're all looking down, measuring time. But, you know, it says in celestial mechanics, so it's kind of looking back up the other way into the heavens. But it says, an orbital resonance occurs when two orbiting bodies exert a regular, periodic gravitational influence on each other, usually due to their orbital periods being related by a ratio of two small integers, like 1 to 1. And I think even 1 to 365 is fairly small. The physics principle behind the orbital resonance is similar in concept to pushing a child on a swing, where the orbit and the swing both have a natural frequency. And you know, we're talking about, like in Job, this God or the Lord is talking about at the beginning of time that the stars and the sons of God were singing in perfect harmony, resonance. Likewise, when we go to the book of Jude, which is right before the book of Revelations, we see a verse that says, Jude 1 verse 6, it says, "And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day." Well, I'm telling you what, angels and stars are pretty much the same thing. It's talking about planets, stars, something breaking the pattern. The pattern is the resonance. You know, that's why when we look at planets like Saturn, we see a hexagon. And, you know, on Dabu 7, just the other day, he was showing how on Earth, around Antarctica, there was a pentagram. And another example of resonance is the planet Venus. It's in perfect resonance with planet Earth, you know, the 8 and the 13, you know, the pentagram. But the book of Jude's talking about angels not having kept their first estate, but left their own inhabitation. They were in some place and time, in some particular order, and they broke that. And then, there was even one other verse here I wanted to make sure, it was in the book of Jude as well. And you know, it's talking about, the ungodly, the wicked, you know, all being associated with these angels that left their place. But it says, Jude 1:14, "And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and all their hard speeches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him." But once again, it's, and what I'll tell you is, just in Jude, you know, when all these people are talking about judgment, like, you really got to read to the end of this, where it says, Jude 1:20, "But ye, beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith, praying in the Holy Ghost, keep yourselves of the love of God, looking for the mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ, and of some have compassion," making a difference. That's how you make a difference, compassion and love. "And others save with fear." You know, sometimes you do have to put a little fear into a person, but it's pulling them out of the fire, not throwing them into the fire. "Hating even the garment spotted by the flesh." So you're hating the garment, not the person, man. Or whatever shadow spirit is within them. And, you know, it is about spirits, man, because cities represent collective spirits, man. You know, cities of darkness, cities of light. When you hear them talking about those dark cities like Sodom, Gomorrah, Egypt, Babylon, it's always, let us make a name for ourselves, and being of one accord. Accord is resonance. You know, once again, looking at this orbital resonance, you know, Jupiter has 3 moons that are in orbital resonance around it in a 1, 2, 4 resonance. That's a chord, 3 notes, 1, 2, 4. You know, I was just reading here, I'll read it to you, but it says, "In the rings of Saturn, Enki," you know, we just had Comet Enki going through, and Keeler gaps within the A ring. A sounds like a note on the musical scale. The A in the ring are cleared by a 1-to-1 resonance with the embedded moonlets of Pan and Daphnis. That's Pan, that's kind of like evil. Respectively, the A ring's outer edge is maintained by a destabilizing 7-6 resonance with the moon Janus. But once again, all throughout our solar system, you know, whether it's Mercury, Venus, Earth, all the moons, everything is interconnected through resonance, man. And we're either in some kind of a harmonic resonance or we're not. Now, just continuing through this study, a mean motion resonance in the solar system. There are only a few known mean motion resonances in the solar system. Dwarf planets, satellites, asteroids, planetary rings. There's these formulas. The three moons of Venus are in a Laplace resonance. The mean motion resonance. And, they give these ratios for the resonances of the planets. So like Venus, it says randomized time 200. Earth Venus is 1,000. That's a multiple. 1 day is like 1,000 days on Venus. That's the resonance. But what I looked at is the very ending of this stuff on Wikipedia. Oh God, I hope I can find this thing here. This is the final sentence on Wikipedia. It says, coincidental near ratios of mean motion. And what it's saying is, the solar system looks like it's perfect, but it's actually not. It's off just a pinch. So a couple of things is it says, it's talking about Earth and Venus, that it's every 960 years, they're 180 out from where they started. And I think that's one of the synchronizations that's happening is the 960 year synchronization. But what it was saying is, I want to get this one sentence here because, well, what it's saying is, that the mean motion resonance, a simple integer 1 to 1, could either bring stabilization or destabilization, and they then gave examples of it. But they're saying things can destabilize for whatever reasons. So the final sentence in Wikipedia under the coincidental near ratio of mean motion says, the presence of a near resonance may reflect that a perfect resonance existed in the past or that the system is evolving towards one in the future. Some audible frequencies, and then they show the charts. But listen to that statement. We were either in harmonic balance in the past or we're heading towards it in the future, man. And there you have it, my friends. The planets, the frequencies, the resonances, the door, the knocking on the door, the opening with the keys to heaven, all are in play. The moon has two faces. We only get to see one face of the moon. But it's funny, in the Bible, there's a little bit of that too. When Moses says, let me see the glory, the God he's talking to says, hey, you know what, I can't actually even show you my face. I'm going to show you my backside. But it almost gives the impression that there's two faces of God. But is God two-faced? Or are there just two gods, Anyway, we're going to dig deeper into that. We're at the 13-minute mark. One last note. Let there be light is like let there be time. There's an angel in Revelation saying let there be time no more. But then there's two people in the Bible, Joshua and King Hezekiah, that both affected time. So there's examples. The angel is a man in Revelation. So 3 times men are changing time. So maybe it was a man making time at the beginning there in Genesis as well. But in Jude, we have angels that left their place in time, that are kept in chains, that kept not their time and place, that wandered. And that's what it said in the book of Jude. I was looking for that verse. It said, stars that wandered. It tells you that's what those angels are. So my friends, that's the time we're in. Whether it's asteroids, comets, stars that are wandering, planets that are realigning, Venus is slowing down. Can a door be opened or something be locked into some kind of synchronicity, some kind of new synchronous pattern that begins a new perception of time or literally stops time the day that time stood still? All right, hey, may God bless you all. Once again, this is the Synchronicity of the Ages, Part 3. I'm Ben Hellstead, your Jedi Warrior for Jesus. Hey, think positive, man. Resonate. Positivity, my friends, Show some love to somebody. Go out and hug the first person you meet today. Try and smile a little bit more, man. Resonate your own frequency of positivity, man, because that's very important nowadays. All right, catch y'all later.